Coming at you live. It is the Season Over Fire Everyone Sports Show. This is the December 31st New Year's Eve edition. Hopefully you're not sober as you're enjoying this recording. I am your boy, Skills. To my immediate left is Sir Sorbag. To my far left is OG, formerly known as Bo. So much to get into today, gentlemen. I think we should start with the 49ers taking first place.
Number one seed.
First
We're
place.
going to the Super Bowl. We might not win the Super Bowl, but
we're going to go there.
We're the first team to clinch the Super Bowl in December. We got it. We Super Bowl champs, baby.
I'd like to shout out the Cardinals for beating the stanky-ass Eagles. The Eagles are going to fall. Eagles fall. They suck. And I'm so happy that the Cardinals beat them. So we'll send them a nice care package.
So, skills. Could I get a little guest appearance in this?
Producer Dilla, what you got to say?
Well, you got to come here. We can't hear you.
All right, so I'm saying this. I love Niner fans. You guys did a great job tonight. As a side, you guys are not going to win the Super Bowl. You might make it, but not win.
We'll get there.
That's what I just said, fool.
Yeah.
Except we are going to win the Super Bowl.
The only obstacle is basically the Ravens.
I'm so scarred from losing 2 Super Bowls in a row that I don't even I don't know, man. It's different than the old Niners when you know you were going to win a Super Bowl, and now it's like, we're just like,
But I'm confident we can beat. I'm so confident in this team. I think we could face both the Ravens and the Bengals or whoever at the same time and beat them both. We could play 11 on 22 and win the Super Bowl. That's how confident I am.
The same team that we lost to this season.
if the Browns make it, I'm not even confident we can beat them. The AFC teams are no joke, man. Like the Browns, the Bengals. Well, the
Bengals are out.
Hurt, but now the Ravens, they're just kicking our ass. So I honestly don't know if we can beat. Like the Bills look good. I don't know if we can beat them.
They do look good. And we did predict earlier this season that the Browns were going to go down hard when we played them in that rainy game. We predicted, I believe it was something along the lines of like 35-10 or something like that, and it ended up being a 1917 loss. So. Maybe we shouldn't take Cleveland Browns so lightly. Just maybe.
No, for sure not. I mean, they have a great. I think their defense is better than the Niners. It's just their offense, right? But like Sleepy Joe Flacco over there.
He's probably napping right now.
He's like having
he is.
He's having
that win.
It's like somebody gave him like a pound of turbo, and now he's just like.
He discovered the fountain of youth this year, and the comeback player of the year. This is what I want to ask you. Speaking of Flacco, we were going to get to this later, but since we brought him up now, if you have to vote between Joe Flacco and Damar Hamlin for comeback player of the year, who has your vote? We'll start with you, OG.
Flacco.
And tell us why.
Because he's like the fourth straight quarterback out of Cleveland coming in. He came in. He barely knew the offense. And if you look at his receiving core, his number 1 running back is injured for the season. He has a second string running back.
Who he's never met, probably.
Exactly. And then his receiving core, the Joker, was non-existent until he came in. So for me, I'll give it to him.
Your thoughts, Sir Sorbeck?
Has he played enough to win it?
I don't think it matters. Remember, Alex Smith won it a couple years ago. He only played like 6 games.
Oh no, yeah, for sure. For sure, Joe Flacco. Like what he's done is crazy. He's better. He's done better than Watson, who I hate for obvious reasons.
Yes.
Worst contract in the history of the league. The fact that the Browns gave him this contract is ridiculous, and that's why I don't even want them to succeed because they should be punished.
Don't massage him, ladies. It's a trap.
So all that money guaranteed.
He would get paid.
He did so many bad things, and he got all that money guaranteed. This makes me sick every time I think about it. But besides that, Joe Flacco is doing great, so he's comeback player.
Oh, this is good. This is all good.
I thought we agreed you're not going to eat.
I know.
You're hosting. You can't eat and host.
You agreed. I didn't agree to anything. Batman, don't you say a word either.
Yeah. You're going to go over your 190 pounds.
In his right leg, is
In his right leg.
I want to.
Hey, goddammit! This is a sports show, not an eating show. If I wanted to see people eating, I'd go on YouTube and watch those people eating. Okay, so put that down. I don't want this AMSR or ARS, whatever the hell it's called. I don't want to see that. I don't want to hear you chewing. So stop eating.
Batman sounds a lot like Spider-Man, but that's neither here nor there.
Maybe they're the same person. Have you ever thought about that? Peter Parker is Bruce Wayne.
I want to pick Hamlin because Hamlin basically.
No, stop it.
I'm just I'm just telling you. I want to pick Hamlin because the guy died. Can I make my point? I want to pick him because the guy died on the field, right?
No, he did not.
Well, he was close. He was close to it.
Is sleeping on the sideline count? It's almost pretty close.
But the reason why I'm not picking Hamlin as I wouldn't pick him for comeback player of the year, and I would pick Flacco, is because Hamlin did not have anything from a football standpoint, didn't have anything to come back from.
Right.
So I think if you're going to be a comeback player of the year, even if you die or don't die or God bless him for coming back. I'm not trying to put down what he did and what his comeback in life, right? But and from a football standpoint, you can't come back and get that award over somebody like Flacco. Right. So that's why I'm not picking Hamlin over Flacco.
Well, Hamlin's like a substitute player, right?
I believe he does play in dime packages and things like that. I don't know much about how much he's been playing. I just know he's been very vocal on social media about his trials, trying to get back to health and everything, get on the field. He's very grateful to everyone. Good for him, and that's great. And don't get me wrong, it is great what he did as far as recovering in life. But in football, I'm picking Joe Flacco as my comeback player of the year because of the reasons I just said.
Where was Joe Flacco last year, by the way?
The Jets?
Yeah, he was backing up. I think he was third string on.
Oh, that's right. He was on the Jets, and he looked terrible. So right, because he did play a little bit, and he looked terrible. So I don't know where this came from. I honestly can't name a single offensive player on the Browns.
Well, they had Chubb. He's gone.
Well, other than him,
Cooper.
Amari Cooper.
Amari Cooper, yeah.
That's right.
Kareem Hunt's back there, of course.
The joke was their tight end.
Yeah, but Hunt's not as good as he was in KC.
No. Well.
Yeah. And Kareem only came back after what's his name got hurt. So they're running back.
Yeah. He was on his couch. Kareem Hunt gets the couch player of the year.
Yeah.
We were talking about that on another podcast. I'm not going to plagiarize that conversation. So, Niners, as we were talking about, we are very excited. You may or may not have figured that out. We're very excited. We're all Niners fans. You can see we all got our Niner gear on.
I don't know why you're not wearing Niner gear on football Sunday. The Warriors game was last night, by the way.
Yeah, they sucked.
Well,
they sucked.
Good point.
Fire Kerr. Anybody who still supports Kerr should have their head examined. I'm talking to you, Dibs, and you, all you 95.7 homers. You guys don't know what the heck you're talking about.
Hey, you lost a subscriber when y'all started going for Kerr when the Warriors were in the middle of the losing streak. So, but not that it matters, but whatever. The Golden State could stand to use some improved everything right
But
this
the point
point.
is, why didn't you wear Niner gear?
I didn't wear Niner gear because of a lot of reasons. And the main reason I didn't wear Niner gear is because I wore this.
That's not a reason.
Well, I can't wear two shirts at the same time.
Well, why didn't you pick a Niner shirt? It's Sunday. It's football. Why did you pick the Warrior shirt instead of the Niner shirt?
If I tell you the real reason, you're gonna.
Well, that's what I'm trying to get to. This is Dateline. This is 2020. We're investigating here. I want the truth.
Okay. But you can't handle the truth.
No, louder. You can't handle the truth.
But you can't handle you can't handle the truth, and you're gonna make fun of me for it. That's why I'm reluctant to say it.
Well, I'm gonna make fun of you anyway, so just say it.
Okay, the real reason I didn't wear my Niners shirt, I did wear this shirt, is because it was about 1.5 feet closer to me in the closet. Oh. I would have had to take an extra step to reach the Niners stuff.
That cannot be the reason.
No, that's the honest to God reason.
Oh my God.
I was thinking about
how you literally opened the closet and this was closer and that's why you picked it?
Well, also because it was sports. I got to wear Giants, Niners, and Warriors during the show, and the Warriors was the closest one of the three that I saw. The Niners gear is towards the middle back, so I didn't want to take any further steps because I just didn't want to. So I just grabbed this. It was clean. I threw it on. See, OG's not judging. He's trying not to laugh.
I'm trying not to. but your shirt's wrong. Because they don't splash anymore. It just says brother. Haven't seen a splash in a while.
Oh, your curry's not splashing.
Exactly.
There's no splashing going on.
No, I'm going to lean on you guys for last night's game. I know in the 2 games before.
I didn't want to see him.
OG, did you see last night's game?
I watched parts of it.
Okay. So. I was caught doing things, but the 2 games before that against Denver and against, who's the opponent before yesterday? Miami. Mm-hmm. Curry went both first halves. Almost the entire first half without scoring a single point in either one of those first halves. It was not like anything we've ever seen back to back. Nothing was dropping for him. He had a technical free throw midway through one of the games.
That's the only reason he scored.
Pretty much. And
he sucks.
If we're gonna, and we,
I think that Clay is spreading his disease on Curry, so we should trade Clay, cut him, send him to Suns for KD.
I agree.
Would the Suns make that deal?
No.
Well, no, obviously not just Clay, but just offer them whatever they want for KD and bring them back to the Bay. They'll win a championship and everything will be good.
Now, we know that the Suns are a little disappointing this year without Monty Williams as coach and everything going on with Bradley Beal being in and out of the lineup. Have we heard anything directly that Kevin Durant is unhappy? Because I haven't caught anything directly from him that he wants out or is even displeased with the situation.
There's rumors.
There's rumblings, yeah.
But I think part of it is because he expects all three of them to play. And being where they are right now, they're, at the very bottom with the Warriors? I think they're only at one game apart.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know they were that bad.
They're down. They're under 500. Yeah,
They're not at the top.
How the heck? How is that even possible?
Well, that's the thing, is because someone's always injured, and Beal has been injured almost the entire season.
What about...
Book's been out here and there, so basically Durant's been running the team.
Yeah.
So
And the head coach, Monty Williams, is out. We're seeing now that the impact he probably had on that team is not being felt anymore, even though he's not doing anything in Detroit either. But you see that
I never
Chris Paul was
firing, by the way.
yeah,
it was an ownership thing. It was a change in ownership. The ownership just wanted their guy. It didn't make sense to me either.
No.
Unless there was something we don't
Did
know
they
about.
replace him with a white coach?
I'd have to look into that.
Is the coach of the Suns white?
yeah.
Oh,
Isn't
of
he?
course. There we go.
I
The
think
old
so.
boys club strikes again. You
think
fire a good minority coach just to bring in a white person. Makes me sick.
But the only thing is,
Phoenix is 16-15. They're only like a game and a half ahead.
so I got back
See,
home.
that's even a bigger disappointment than the
Yeah.
Warriors because, like, you have KD, you have Booker, you have Beal. Like,
But
you may not be at the top, but, like, damn, to be down there with the Warriors, that's pretty bad.
Those three haven't played together yet, though.
right.
If they have, it's only been like
But
one or two
Beal's
games.
not really a point guard though. That's the thing.
Yeah.
So he doesn't really facilitate as much as Paul could have. But then again, how much facilitating do you need if you have Kevin Durant there? Really none.
Just give them the ball.
You give him the ball and it's really unstoppable.
Give them the ball, get out the way.
Right.
And going back to what you, I believe it was you, OG, you were
right.
talking about the reason Durant might want out is because of the lack of all three of them playing together.
I think he at some point he left the Warriors to form his own super team, and that's been backfiring on him because they can't stay healthy.
Repeatedly.
Right.
Or
So-
in Kyrie Irving's case, vaccinated.
Right.
No matter what he tries, it just doesn't work.
It doesn't
So,
work. So
Like,
far,
I mean, it sucks that he left. Because I get it, ego, he wants to be the best, but like, it's obviously he had something great here.
yep.
Well, how many big threes has he gone through now? Like 5?
What?
If Kevin Durant, he's gone through in his career, what, 5? Him, Westbrook, and Harden. If you count that early Harden as a big three,
Yeah, that's
he
one.
went through that. Comes to Golden State. Him, Curry, and Clay.
That's two.
Right. Goes to Brooklyn. Him,
That's
Durant, and
three.
Irving.
Yep.
And then
This is the fourth.
then they moved everybody out of there. He goes to Phoenix. Then it's him, Booker, and Paul.
Yep.
Paul goes. Now it's him, Booker, and Beal. But Beal hasn't been there.
Yeah.
So this is up to 5 big threes. He's how many more? Is it? We're gonna just do this every year until he wins a championship.
He's not going to win a championship. That's the point. That's the thing he needs to realize is like he wants to do it on his own, but he can't. And the only time the big three worked was when he was at Golden State. And that,
to be honest, part of the reason that it works is because he had superstars that are willing to defer the shots to him and let him succeed in that piece of it. Because as good as Curry is, you never see him like asking for the ball or getting mad he's not getting the ball. He defers a lot of his attempts and he gives it to Durant.
yeah.
And right now, that's part of the worst issue is that when they start the game and Kerr's dumbass keeps on kind of changing the lineup, like he's changed the lineup how many times now?
There's like 5
Like,
and 5
if
games.
you if you watch like the very first couple of minutes, Curry's not the one who's taking the shots.
He's not.
He's trying to get Kuminga going. He's trying to get Clay going. And then at that standpoint, it's Curry who's trying to take shots, and it's kind of too late. And then he's playing catch up most of the time, and he's trying to like go above and beyond what he does. And there's like instead of like using him to attract double teams and open everything up, it doesn't open. And sometimes he needs to be a little bit more of a ball hog and kind of like don't pass it, because he's passing it to Clay, who he's trying to get, going again. But Clay really sucks. At some point, they got to understand Clay needs to be benched. And he needs to re-earn his starting minutes like what Wiggs is doing. Right now, I think Wiggs should start over Clay, just the way he's been scoring and playing. Even though I don't like Wiggs because of the fact that he doesn't hustle as much as he should.
And he's kind of a drifter.
Right. I think like the last line made no sense. You put Curry, you put Clay, and you put Paul in there. 3 old vets who can't guard young folks, and they can't run. It makes no sense. But yeah, you throw in a rookie in TJD, you throw in Kuminga, and it's a recipe for disaster because there's no hustle players. That's what they're missing. They're missing for people who can hustle when there's loose balls. No one's going after it. Clay ain't going after it. How many times have you seen Clay actually dive for the ball? 0.
It's been a long time.
Exactly. He spends more time pouting because his shots are not going in.
Yeah.
And then he doesn't, not like prior to his injury where you can rely on him when we hide Curry with offensive players that are not going to do anything, and we put Clay on their primary ball handler. That's usually how we did it. But right now, Clay can't guard nobody.
It is universally agreed that he's lost like 2 steps at minimum.
He lost more than 2 steps.
Minimum.
Yeah. So.
But that's on the coach, right? Like, why does he keep giving him starter minutes when he's no longer a starter? And furthermore, like, as a coach, you got to be able to identify, like, when a player is having a good night and when they're not, right? So, Clay had a good streak, right? He was doing well. He was scoring, like, averaging 20. But, like, sometimes he's not going to have it, and there's no point. We all know that if Clay doesn't have it, he doesn't have it.
Yep.
Right? He's not one
You usually know right away.
Usually, like, within the first or 2 quarters, definitely by halftime, but, like, Kerr keeps playing him and playing him when other people should get a chance because they can probably do better than him.
Well, part of their issue is Kerr. Kerr is so stubborn because what he said was he wants to give the opportunity to the vets because they're the ones who carried them there. So no matter how many times they may mess up, he wants to give them that opportunity. And then he backtracks and he goes, well, I'm going to play the hot hand.
But he doesn't.
Exactly. That's the thing. And then when he gets caught, when Moody went off, and then he benched him, what happened? The media killed him.
And he only sort of admitted responsibility.
Right, but why is it that everybody else sees it and he doesn't?
That's what I'm saying.
It makes no sense. So
how can you be so tunnel vision?
And it's not just him. How come those assistant coaches next to him don't say anything to him that says, hey,
I think we're to the point where they're useless.
Is good. But this is the first time I look at this bench, and every time, if you just watch the bench and you watch the assistant coaches, you watch the coaching, they don't do anything. They really don't.
Useless.
Do anything. Except for the fact that, hey, should I challenge that? That's all I see them do. Seriously, they don't do anything. When Brown was there and the other coaches, Brown was actually getting up and coaching.
And getting people's faces, too, if you have to.
Exactly.
Missed that.
Right? I don't see that happening. Ron Adams is not there, so their defense kind of went out the window.
We don't have Luke Walton anymore, Alvin Gentry, those guys.
The people that actually cared about the players, I see a bunch of people that are just there. And they expect things to be exactly the same as it was, and somehow Curry is going to carry them to another championship. Green is going to be his old self and carry the defense, and Clay is somehow supposed to be able to shoot still, which is not happening. And right now, this is probably the first season that I've seen that he's going to have to rely on his rookies. He's going to have to rely on his bench, which he's never done. Never has he played the rookie and started a rookie like he's done this year.
Except for the injury-filled COVID year when he had no choice, which doesn't really count.
Right. Or when Curry went out and he played Poole. But this one, no. All his stars are there except for Draymond Green, but all his stars are there. But he's playing Pajensky. Wiggins somehow fell on the bench. But why can't he do that to Clay?
It's just, I know he was a great player and he's done a lot, but like at a certain point, it's about the team, not the player, right? Like, it's the Warriors. It's not the Klay Thompson team. Like,
it's not.
But it's not. Like, if anything, it's Curry.
Right.
So that's the part of that frustration.
Why wait 1 for 11? Like, literally, why was he even there in the fourth quarter?
He was, like I said, you know in the first 2 quarters whether Clay has it. And if he doesn't have it, then play Moody, play anybody else.
It was coach's decision not to play Moody the last game.
No, that's what I'm saying.
He's a
for no reason.
And that's why Kerr sucks. And that's why Dib sucks, because he supports Kerr.
Wow.
Yep.
So here's the thing, and I think, and what do we always get from Clay when Clay is talking smack? What do we always get? We get the four fingers. Mm-hmm. I think that part of it, and I agree with everything you guys have said. I think part of it with the coaching situation, I don't think anyone on this team, the veterans anyway, will listen to any coaches coming in because they think with 4 rings they have all the answers.
And that's the problem.
Yeah.
And that's where Kerr, a strong head coach would say, well, first of all, a strong head coach would bring in similar coaches to himself, or at least bring in people who can speak up when he couldn't, right? None of that. We haven't seen any of that. I don't even remember. And we all follow this team very closely. Who do we know? Who do we know by name on this staff besides the Atkinson guy? Nobody. I promise you, we follow this team very closely.
Yeah.
We can't even commit these people.
In the last
to memory.
decade that we followed them, we know some of their assistant coaches. Collins was there. Green was there.
We just ran off the names of Gentry and Luke Walton and Adams.
Yeah, Gentry, Luke Walton. And then some of them became actual coaches for other teams.
Yep.
But I think part of Clay's issue is he wants to prove he's still the old Clay, which he's not, and he won't accept that. And he's also stuck on the contract year, which he just declined over the season, beginning of the season.
Foolishly.
42
Foolishly.
for 2?
Mm-hmm.
Because he thinks he's worth more than that. And sometimes that's added pressure to play well, so he's not playing free. And he seriously needs to stop trying to dribble through certain things because he's not a good dribbler and he doesn't hustle anymore. I think there's a lot of hustle plays he's missing out on, and his defense has not been that great. It's subpar. It's actually below average. And his shooting, it's not that great.
Now,
it really isn't.
He bought himself a little bit of favor by having a good stretch during the 5-game win streak earlier this month. Mm-hmm. And just as quickly as it came, it went again. He was averaging somewhere around, I wrote it down, 25-something points a game for a little stretch there.
Yep.
And it looked like he may have turned a corner, although I think deep down in our hearts we knew that wasn't a corner being turned. It was just a hot streak.
Yep.
Which anyone, if you leave him out there long enough, is going to have.
Right.
And we loved Clay since the day he took over from Monte Ellis as their starting shooting guard back in 2012. We've supported him. We've watched him do some insanely great things on the court. That being said, everyone ages out at some point.
Right.
You have all these injuries, and the differences between Clay and most people, most other players, you realize what you are is not the same person as what you were. And you learn to deal with every great player eventually comes off the bench.
Right.
Or at least reduce role.
At the end of the day, it's not really Clay's fault, it's the coaching's fault. Because they're supposed to make the decision when to pull people in and pull people out. And he's not doing that. He's tinkering with his offense and who to play, who to rotate almost every single season. How do you do that? Like, how do you really tinker your whole offense and your who's supposed to play for an entire season? At some point, you know your vets, you know what they're going to do, so you should have a game plan ahead of schedule that says, hey, these people can do this, and this is what they can't do. I don't see, like, you should know that TJD is not going to shoot a three. Wiggs' percentage of shooting threes is very, very low.
Very low.
So have him do the other things that the rookies are doing. The hustling, getting the rebounds. Like, Looney is not even jumping anymore, right?
Oh, God.
He plays, but he's not playing the way he used to. But for me, if it gets so confusing that you're trying to play 12-man rotation, shrink it. Shrink it to your trusted.
You cannot do that.
But that's the problem. Like Peyton had just got back literally last game, and he played him. And then the amount of minutes he played, he caused probably 2 fouls that resulted in 3-point plays, right?
Okay.
And then outside, he didn't really do anything. I mean, he had possibly one play where he did good. He was, I get it. It's always the reason, right? Like, oh, he's rusty. I get that. But when you're rusty, then you should. Exactly. Don't play him in games where he's not. Trust.
Limited minutes.
Right. Why not trust the people that got you those wins?
Especially when you have Moody rotting on the bench. Got a CD, DNP last
night. The guy hustles. He shoots well, and he plays well.
He did not play a minute.
He did not.
Perfectly healthy. Had 11 points the game before. Didn't play last night.
They scratched him out because Peyton took his minutes.
Yeah, Clay's going 1 for 11, and this is why Kerr has to go, because he's too stuck on the past and stuck on these veterans. And we need a coach that's not going to be so biased, and will put the people that are playing well on the court.
And actually do it.
What an idea. What an idea.
Hey,
Right.
if you're playing well, you get to go ahead on the court.
Yeah.
Wow.
That doesn't make any sense.
Revolutionary.
Before we clear out, because we're going to have a short show today for a number of reasons,
Yeah.
I want to talk about. There's one. I want to talk about the losing streak that we were afraid for a minute there that the Warriors were going to be the team to break the Pistons' 28 game and counting losing streak. We were really fearing that for a moment. Right. Luckily, Detroit's, after tying the record 2 nights ago, you guys see that horrible goaltending call against Jason Tatum for the Pistons that went against the Pistons that allowed Boston to tie the game and send it into overtime and beat them eventually? Did you guys see that goaltending play?
Yeah.
Was that not garbage in that situation? Was that not a garbage call?
Well, there's a lot of garbage calls, like LeBron's 3 yesterday.
Oh gosh.
That was a 3. That was a 3. He wasn't on the line.
No.
Have the Pistons won or not?
They won.
They won yesterday against Toronto. And only because Toronto has just traded away OG.
They traded OG, so that basically they lost one starter.
The second best
Toronto.
OG in the land.
And it was a back-to-back.
Because they haven't got the new guys from the Knicks,
Right.
RJ Barrett and people quickly and all those guys in yet. So they were a little shorthanded.
So that increased the probability of winning yesterday.
And Detroit won by 2 points, 129,
Right.
127.
Yeah.
I don't know. The way the Warriors are playing and Kerr's coaching, they might lose to Pistons.
I want to bring this to you guys' attention. I didn't mention this in our personal group chat for a reason. Well, actually, I think I did. But anyway, did you hear anything about Dwight Howard's proposal? Dwight Howard, the longtime NBA All-Star who's now playing overseas.
We know who Dwight Howard is.
He always makes proposals. He also has a lot of Instagram where he puts people's photos in there and saying, come to Taiwan or something.
Yes.
And we know that he just got cousins to go there and play with him.
Well, here's what he proposed when the losing streak was still going on. He proposed that the Pistons cut everybody, I'm presuming except Cade Cunningham, and bring in
Isaiah Thomas.
himself, Isaiah Thomas,
Cousins.
DeMarcus Cousins, Michael Beasley,
Yep.
and the who was the fifth guy? I wrote it all down, but there's a fifth guy, another guy who's out of the league right now. That would be their starting lineup, and then bring in guys like Matthew Dellavedova to be on the bench. I wrote it out. I really should have.
Dellavedova still in the league?
He hasn't played this season yet. He has not played this season, but his proposal, he proposed 10 guys who are currently not in the league, and I didn't think it was a horrible idea when the streak was going on. I really didn't. I feel like if these guys are still active, still in their except for Howard, in their mid-30s and under, and most of them recently played as recently as last year,
Okay.
I would say, what the hell do you have to lose?
Money.
If you can make the money work, I forgot that part. If you can make the money work somehow.
You can't cut a whole team, okay?
Yeah, you can't.
That's never been done before. I don't think that'll happen.
And you kind of ruin the growth of your young guys and your young core.
But then you could argue they're ruining their own growth by losing 28 games in a row.
What's the difference between the Warriors not playing all their rookies and just saying, I'm just going to play all vets? Same thing.
But if you're okay, but I'm just, my reason I see what you're saying. I'm just saying my position was because you have the audience, the crowd coming in the games talking about sell the team, blah blah blah. Everyone's getting hostile.
Yeah.
If I've lost even 20 in a row, I'm at least considering blowing everything up. That's just
how the hell do you even lose?
But what do you consider as blowing everything up? Because technically, losing 20 in a row gets you at the bottom, which gives you a sort of percentage higher chance of getting a good lottery pick.
and
So there's something to blow up. And then when you say blow up, it usually you blow things up because you're paying people too much money to lose.
Mhm.
I don't think they're paying too much money to people to lose. Like who's in their books right now that's costing him a lot?
The only call you could say would be Bogdanovic, however you say it.
Exactly.
And he's not playing poorly, at least
Right.
statistically,
I mean, Cade Cunningham's still in his rookie deal, right?
as far as I know.
Yeah.
And then you have the great James Wiseman's doing some things out there.
Yeah, but that's just rookie.
The great James
Right.
Wiseman.
Who I mentioned was seen on, I mentioned this on Skills on Sports yesterday, was seen, I saw a clip of him guarding his own man on a play against somebody last week.
Yeah.
Guy was driving to the basket. His teammate was driving to the basket. Wiseman's teammate, what does Wiseman do instead of getting out of the way? Steps out to guard him. Then gets out of the way, botches the whole play, dunk on the other end. Anyway, one more NFL thing to talk about. Then we'll close with a baseball story or two.
They could have had Halliburton.
The assist leader,
Halliburton.
the NBA assist leader, total and points per game, Tyrese Halliburton could have been ours.
That's right.
And what's up with that stare down he was giving the assist, Wally Szczerbiak at the next table?
Because he's if I remember correctly, he said he was just a wannabe all-star.
Oh.
And he remembered.
Wow. This was recently he said this?
I think it's a while back.
Okay.
I think it's like a year or so.
Howard?
Yeah.
Oh, that. Come on, we could all see Halliburton's going to be good, man.
We've been talking about Halliburton since pretty much
Since we didn't pick him.
Since we didn't pick him. And at the time
They should have just traded down.
But would you have risked that though? Because if you look at his game, okay, not what he's doing now. When he was playing, when they drafted him, he doesn't have a pure jump shot. He has a hitch in his shot.
This is Halliburton you're talking about.
That's Halliburton.
Okay.
If you look at the way he shoots, there's a hitch in his shot. So it's just kind of like LaMelo Ball shot, but it's a little slower, right? And then when they had him, outside of that, like, what else are you expecting from him, though? Like, it's a league full of shooters, right? So you look at Fox. You had Fox in there. That's why Fox was picked over him in terms of who to trade. Halliburton went that way. They kept Fox because Fox is the face of that franchise. Because think about it. Now Halliburton's the face of Indiana.
And it's working out well for both of them. They both went from bottom feeders to contenders since the trade.
Right. But he probably wasn't...
Playoff contenders, not title contenders. Let me just clarify.
Like, physically, his basketball skills was probably good, but it's not as good as where he is now.
Yeah, he
Now,
has
certain things could have impacted that. It could have been, part of being in the USA basketball team. Sometimes having a lot of playing time actually helps you a lot, right? But he wasn't like. Did you even knew how Halliburton when he was drafted?
I never heard of him. Well,
exactly.
I don't follow college basketball. I heard about
right.
the
Like,
first
I don't
few
follow
picks.
college basketball, but I'm like, was he really in my top 10 at the time? Probably not.
I heard of Ball. I heard of Wiseman, and
Right.
if you run me some other names from
Anthony
that draft,
Edwards.
I knew Anthony Edwards because he played on ER many years ago as Dr. Green. God bless him.
So.
Well, I thought it was funny. Shut up! I thought it was funny. All right, last thing we'll talk about from the NFL world. We're going to move on. Jimmy Johnson.
Basketball. What are we talking about?
Well, we talked about NFL first, though, and then we kind of transitioned.
We kind of moved.
All right.
Jimmy Johnson into the Dallas Cowboys Ring of Honor. Your thoughts, Sir Slurback?
Jerry Jones is a dumbass for firing him. But I'm thankful because or else the Cowboys would have won a lot more Super Bowls.
Yeah.
So thank you, Jerry Jones, for being an idiot.
Yes, the Niners had to beat Barry Switzer to get to that '94 Super Bowl in the conference championship. OG, your thoughts on Jimmy Johnson going into the Ring of Honor after 100
think he
years?
deserves it. He's really a great coach. He was great when he was at Dallas. Outside of that, that's really all I know about
He
him.
was pretty good in Miami too, right?
He got to playoffs a couple times in Miami.
It was the Dallas coaching that made him.
Yeah, he made his name taking over for Tom Landry with the Cowboys back in the day. Got the Dallas through a 1-15 start. Got the triplets in there. Went to 2 Super Bowls in a row. Won them both.
Aikman, Emmitt Smith, had an all-star team.
Mike
at the
Irvin.
time. At one point, he had Deion Sanders in there too, right?
Well, yeah, that's after.
He did not have Deion Sanders.
He
Deion
didn't.
Sanders came under Barry
Oh,
Switzer.
Okay.
Because
Yeah.
Deion Sanders went there after the Niners.
Yeah. And here's the thing.
Well, that's why I don't get why they let him go there. It's so dumb.
It was ego. You know the whole Jerry Jones, Jimmy Johnson, who gets the credit for making them champs thing, right?
Yeah. And look how that. And Jerry Jones has not won a Super Bowl since.
Well, he won one with Switzer,
Oh, fine.
but I get your point.
That was luck.
He won away.
That was the team that Jimmy Johnson built.
That was the team. Most people agree with you because Barry Switzer hasn't coached in the NFL since he got fired from Dallas over 25 years ago.
I mean, yeah.
So I personally, I'm not a Cowboys fan at all. Obviously, I'm a 49ers fan, as you can tell by my Warriors shirt. But I'm very happy for Jimmy Johnson because this clearly meant a lot to him.
We can't take him anywhere, literally anywhere. It was a foot too far.
Did you hear that? He's happy with Johnson. He's happy with Johnson's Jimmy.
Took me a minute to get that one, but no. You guys are gross and mean. I hate you both.
Can you demonstrate the moan for us?
We'll close with one baseball story because I know that's all these guys can probably handle, and it's not a happy-go-lucky one at all. It's the Wander Franco situation update, where the story. I talked about it over the summer on my personal show. He was caught he's alleged to have been doing things with a teenager that he shouldn't be doing as a grown-ass man, and he was. Major League Baseball put him on the restricted list like in June or whatever it was, and he missed the rest of the season. He's with the Tampa Bay Rays, still under contract, of course, making $182 million over, 10 years if he gets out of this somehow. But They were looking for him in Dominican Republic, where he's from, and they couldn't find him. So he's on the run now. He's basically a fugitive down there. And here's what I want to propose. And when I propose this, I'm not saying that we're talking about someone who's doing felonies, like killing people or children things. What I'm proposing is you have a teammate who is not a good guy. He's not a good guy at all. He gambles, he cheats, he steals, he just does things that he shouldn't be doing. He's not a nice guy. No one likes him. But he makes your team better. He hits 20 homers a year. Do you want that? Or okay, let's say he brings you 5 more wins a year with his 20 homers. He makes you a better team on the field, but you hate him off of it. Do you want a teammate like that? Do you prefer having a teammate you actually respect who is not as effective as a player? OG, you go first.
Like I told you earlier, if it's business, right, and it's not personal, and I'm not going to hang out with him outside of the actual field, then I'll take that guy. Because he's gonna make me win.
You want to win,
right? I'm not there to chit chat. Like, especially if you look at how open the field is. Like really, how many times are you gonna talk to that person?
Probably not.
Exactly.
Not
If you're in the dugout, how many times are we gonna talk to that person?
You don't have to.
Exactly. So in regards to that piece, just like when Draymond punched Poole, do you really have to talk to him? No. You go in, you play the game. You sit on the bench. You could sit a couple of seats away from him, and you play, and you go your merry way. So for me, in that standpoint, then give me the bad person who could play.
So you're putting winning, because winning ultimately is good for all of you.
I put winning over everything. But the thing about it is that a lot of teams have done that. Kareem Hunt, what did he do? Why did he get out of Kansas City?
Because he put his hands on the one.
Exactly.
Ray Lewis killed somebody.
Dude, Giddy from
Oklahoma City Thunder.
Yeah, had the photo. What was he with?
Someone he shouldn't have been with.
Exactly.
A kid.
Right.
I mean, really, all the people in the world, you got to spend time with children like that.
Kobe Bryant, rest his soul. What was he in trial for?
R-wording. At least it was an adult in his case, but still, I get your point.
I'm just saying.
Your thoughts, Slorbag?
Yeah, I mean, as long as he didn't do anything terrible, I would take the winning.
And I think most teams do the same thing. There's a fine line where they'll say no, and there's a fine line where they say, I'll make an excuse for it. Because they've done it multiple times, right? And they only do it because they know that individual will help them win. Now, if they know they're not going to help them win, then say, hey, you're out.
Yeah. Now, of course, if they're a repeat offender, that changes things.
Right.
Remember, we're not talking about, in my example, we're not talking about someone who's doing prison stuff that'll send him to prison necessarily, at least not a federal prison, maybe a white-collar prison for a year or two. He's just a jerk and a loser and an idiot, but he helps you win.
Right.
And and there's people who would argue, and I say this with respect because I don't know him, but there's people who would argue that Jose Canseco was that type of person. But he made you better.
Right. But there's some where they do it behind the game, and there's some who do it in the game. So I think the ones that do it in the game, they don't last long because there's an image they're still trying to apprehend. And in terms of when people are watching that they don't want people to do. Like, Draymond's probably thin ice right now. Right. All the stuff he's done. But he could be a great guy, right? We don't know. He could be a family. His wife just gave birth. So
that's 3, right? Three children?
I think so.
There's at least one other son.
Right.
My stance on the teammate thing, I think it would depend on how much losing I've been on, how long my team has been down. If I'm on a team, let's say in baseball, like let's say the Anaheim Angels or Los Angeles Angels, whatever, who's been a losing team for a decade now, and you bring in some jerkbag who's going to make me 10, 15 games better, hey, I'll at least give it a try. But if I'm on a winning team that's known to just strong character, strong values, a franchise like, say, who can I use in this example? Let's say New York Yankees, just to throw them out there. Okay. They haven't had a losing season in 30 years.
Really?
Really. Wow. They made it to the playoffs most of those years.
Okay.
I'm probably going to be like, we've won without you all this time. We don't need you. So I guess it would depend on where I'm coming from in my background.
And I heard Dusty Baker is going to be involved with the Giants.
That's the word. They're making a position for him to do his thing with the Giants.
Wait, he's not coaching Texas anymore? Is it Texas? Where is he? What?
Dusty was with the Astros.
He retired. Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was with the Astros. He retired. But now he's going to be some sort of advisor type role, which he's had with the Giants before he took over the Houston Astros a few years ago. Well, we're do our show a little shorter than, as I mentioned earlier, than we usually do. We usually run an hour plus. Today we're going to run for 42 minutes. This has been... we didn't even do our segments. We didn't do our segments.
Oh, we can skip that. I don't have any.
I had a good skills on pills segment.
All right, go for it.
Okay.
Go.
Skills on pills. I take blood pressure. Dillo, can you slide me my
That's no blood pressure medicine.
You got a lot of pills, bro.
You got a lot of pills.
Oh, the pill box?
Yeah, just any.
And will always love you.
I take blood pressure medication because I get riled up over things in the sports world that pretty much nobody else does. That's why I take these. This week's skills on pills will center around. This is why I take it. It centers around the situation involving what is named Ogletree. I wrote his name down. His first. I think it's whatever. Well, I'm looking for his first name. I wrote it down here somewhere.
Come on, you don't know Ogletree.
He is on one of the NFL teams. He was recently arrested.
Hieroglyphics? Like, I can't even read that. Like, what the hell is that?
Drew Ogletree.
That's Druid.
Like, what the Sanskrit over here, man? What the?
He was arrested recently for domestic violence, alleged domestic violence. Okay, my skills on pills issue is. Well, I mean, I'm obviously against domestic violence, but here's the thing: when you have a professional athlete who is mentioned in the news, who has a common name as someone else, or an uncommon name as someone else who is well known in the sport. In this case, Alec Ogletree, who used to play for the Rams and is very well known in the NFL. Why do most of the articles not clarify that the two are not related? I had to dig through at least 4 or 5 different websites to clarify that Drew Ogletree, the dirtbag DV guy allegedly, is not related to the great linebacker or lineman, whatever he was, for the Rams from a few years ago. How many Ogletrees are there running around? How hard is it to say he has no connection to Drew Ogletree? He has no connection to Alec Ogletree. They are not brothers. They're not cousins. They're not related. That's why I have to take these pills, because I have to do the job of the media. And I have enough duties, enough hats that I wear, but I have to do other people's jobs too. That's skills on pills. There you go. And that's the end of the show. Season over, fire everyone.
I have a segment too.
Okay,
Hey, Greedy Goblin.
Well, I didn't know you. I thought I was going to be the only one doing it.
All right.
I have my slower bags of the week. And the slower bags of the week are Kyle Shanahan and Brock Purdy. Because, Kyle always sabotages himself. He had a terrible game plan against the Ravens. I don't know why you're throwing 45 times against the Ravens. And then Brock Purdy, he's great, but he made some dumbass decisions that game. So
Great as a rookie.
Brock Purdy's great. Yeah, he's great, but he definitely sucked that game. So they are my slower bags of the week because they stunk.
He's not a rookie though. He's second year.
Whatever.
Close enough.
Bo, do you have a financial one?
No,
Okay.
I think right now Clay's not worth 42 or 43 mil, whatever that's called. He's not worth
25 million.
He's not worth hell no.
For me, he should have took the deal at 42.
Hey,
right?
Clay, I love you. I'm gonna say one thing. These guys knows I'm a Clay fan.
Right.
You are worth about 20 million. I love you,
or
brother.
at least 25 where Dre wins at.
25.
Right.
I love you, brother.
To me, that's where his price tag
biggest
is
Clay
right now.
fan in this damn group.
He does love Clay.
He loves Clay.
They overpaid for Draymond.
He's overpaid.
Now they got to pay Clay at least 25.
Draymond worth 20 million.
Draymond
They
is
gave him
worth
25. He's not worth 25.
But Draymond, man, get your anger issuement, whatever is wrong with you.
His wife just
Get
had a
it, but
baby.
good.
He should be fine.
No, he's dude.
Dillo
His
off.
wife just had a baby. He just took paternity leave.
That's our boy Dillo. 3 times a month, Dillo will text me at like 4 a.m. just to tell me how great Klay Thompson is.
Klay Thompson sucks.
Clay sucks.
He's good.
Trade him.
You're worth 20,
Trade him for a bag of
25
Doritos.
We'll cut that as OG's non-baller of the week.
Yeah.
Because Clay bet on himself and lost exponentially.
He did lose.
Right. This has not been a good season for him. Anyway, go ahead, Slowback.
Nothing will change until Kerr gets fired. Everybody who
Yes.
supports Kerr sucks. And meet me at Nations.
With your knee brace.
Bring your knee brace in. Little knee brace in.
Season over, fire everyone. Thank you so much for watching. Sir Slowback on my immediate left.
Broke his legs. Both his legs.
Amputee Batman in the middle.
Hey, Kerr sucks. And Dib sucks. And they should both get fired.
and OG on the far left. We will have you back next week. Hopefully, we'll see you next week.